Blake says to Leighton while looking at me, "She shouldn't be your stand-in. She's too fat to be your stand-in." Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Kjersti Flaa, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood with celebrities and working as an entertainment reporter. So yesterday I went to the Critics' Choice Awards. It's an award show where critics and journalists like me give out awards to movies, TV shows, actors and actresses. So Chelsea Handler was the host of the night, and I've seen already, it's been everywhere, that she did make a joke about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, in contrast to Nikki Glaser, who was the host of the Golden Globes, who said beforehand that she wasn't going to go there. Chelsea Handler was not afraid. I was kind of expecting her to do something, so I picked up my phone. I was kind of in the center, in front of the stage, but further in the back, but I had a very good view from there. And when she entered the stage, I was like, okay, I'm waiting for this. And that's how she started off the night. Okay, so here's what she said.
So it is important in times like these to have a distraction. And that's why I want to personally extend my gratitude to Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Thank you for providing us with that distraction. I'm grateful. I think we're all grateful. And I think we're good. I think everybody in this room, no matter whose side you're on, we can all agree to accept that there's probably not going to be a sequel. It ends with us, guys.
I think that says a lot, because I could hear everyone in the room laughing. It was the hardest laugh of the night. Some people might say that you shouldn't joke about these things if Blake Lively's allegations are serious, as they are in her lawsuit, but I don't think that many people believe her anymore. Because when I was reading The Room, people were laughing. And I wasn't that close to Orlando Bloom, but I saw a clip of him laughing. And I know from these things before, I went to the Golden Globes and I saw how people reacted to Ricky Gervais's jokes. And everyone's looking around like, am I being filmed when I laugh about this? Can I really laugh about this? And I think people are nervous, like trying to hide their laughter because they know they can be used against them. And of course, it's everywhere that Orlando Bloom was laughing. But let me tell you this, he wasn't the only one laughing. And I think what Chelsea Handler was saying goes for a lot of us. I think a lot of us have kind of found some relief in this drama because it takes away the attention to what's really happening in the world. The really important things and the horrible things that we see every day on the news. Reading about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds, it seems kind of innocent in that sense, and I've got so many emails from people telling me exactly that. So yeah, I think Chelsea Handler was spot on, and I think what she said about a sequel, yeah, it's looking pretty bad right now. Ryan Reynolds wasn't there. He was nominated, or Deadpool Wolverine, was nominated for Best Comedy, and it won. And it was he won on a side note. They didn't make any big deal about it. I saw Leighton Meister there. She was smooching up to her hubby. They're so cute together, and I wish them so much happiness in their life. You know, their house burned down during the fires here in LA, like less than a month ago. So it really warmed my heart to see how happy they were together, and that he also won an award. So congratulations to Adam Brody for that. So another thing that happened last night was that, I don't know if you guys have followed this drama. Another no-show yesterday was Karla Gascon, who was nominated for Emilia Perez. I don't know if you guys have followed all the controversies around her. She's the first transgender woman who's been nominated in this category, and she won a Golden Globes for Best Actress in a Comedy Musical. But since then, some people found her old tweets, and they're nasty. So she is now cut out of the Netflix Oscar campaign, and they told her that they're not paying for her transportation or for her outfits or for anything in relations to award shows. So she canceled yesterday, she didn't show up. It's kind of funny to me that she has her speech at the Golden Globes was all about acceptance and, you know, all these things. And then she's treated like racist things and, yeah, things that, you know, is not acceptable, especially in Hollywood. So I don't think Karla is going to see any Oscar coming her way anytime soon. Anyways, I have received so many emails, and some people have reached out to me to tell me their stories with Blake Lively. And this one girl who contacted me, she wanted to share a story with you guys, but she didn't want to do it on camera because she was, like a lot of other people, doesn't want the attention and is afraid, you know, of her livelihood. But she said it was okay for me to tell the story. So she was an extra, a stand-in at Gossip Girl. I'm going to read for you what she told me. She said, I was a stand-in for Leighton Meister and all the brunettes on Gossip Girl. The actresses were varying heights and weights, but not too much. One day we were all waiting around and I was standing next to Leighton and Blake. While we were waiting for cameras and lights, etc., Blake says to Leighton while looking at me, she shouldn't be your stand-in. She's too fat to be your stand-in. Leighton didn't say anything back to her, or if she did, I didn't hear it. Leighton looked to me to be uncomfortable, and then I remember her going back to her dressing room or trailer and leaving the set. Leighton did. I unfortunately couldn't leave. They needed me for lighting. I was mortified. I would get fired and not be able to pay rent. Even though they didn't need the principal actors anymore, Blake would not leave, so her stand-in sat it out. After they were done with us, Blake was still sitting on the couch texting on her phone, and the crew was getting annoyed because they had to move the couch. So finally they lifted the couch with Blake on it. They had to do that to set up for the next shoots. By then they were not using stand-ins and I was free to go. So basically Blake Lively didn't want to move out of this couch, and then they had to lift her on the couch. I mean, when people come up to you and then they start lifting the couch that you're sitting on, and you don't take the hint of leaving or getting out of that couch, I don't know, at this point I don't get that surprised anymore with these things, but I think that's up there of like the most diva behavior I've ever heard about. The girl continues to say, I'd like to add Leighton was always nice, cordial and professional and friendly to me and everyone else. She didn't have a mean bone in her body. I remember her being so down to earth. Once I treated myself to a Starbucks coffee, which is expensive, and I remember Leighton commenting that it's expensive, and I thought she must have been a normal person or have normal financial means to say that. Also, I remember Leighton having an elderly pet dog. I liked being her stand-in. I wasn't ever worried of Leighton trying to get me fired. However, Blake is another story. I heard later Leighton was born in jail, perhaps explaining how down to earth she was. No silver spoon in her mouth. Everything I mention here was a long time ago, so if I got some details wrong, I apologize. And this is how I remember these events to the best of my knowledge. I love your show. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you. And thank you so much for sharing your story. What I realize more and more when people reach out to me with these kind of stories is that, you know, it does affect you. Not only when you're there on the sets and things happen to you, but it affects you for a long time. And I remember things that happened to me in my 20s now, and I look back at it, and it really gives you scars, you know, when people treat you so bad, you start doubting yourself. So yeah, I'm sorry she had to experience that. I also got some interesting news about that personal trainer. Remember the guy who told Blake Lively that Justin Baldoni had asked her about her weight, and it ended up with Ryan Reynolds screaming at Justin Baldoni in their penthouse for fat shaming his wife? So apparently the trainer Don Saladino updated one of his posts with Blake Lively on his Instagram, and he said that he edited it, and he wrote, "There have been negative comments on this post, negative comments sent to my wife, and believe it or not, negative comments sent to my children. That's terrible." And his wife, she has nothing to do with this. To be clear, he continues, "To be clear, Justin Baldoni is not my client. I created a complimentary program for him as a favor to a client. I have never trained him virtually or in person. I never met him in person. We communicated via calls and texts from January to March 2023. I could not accommodate his schedule and found him a coach. After an uncomfortable conversation, communication ended. After an uncomfortable conversation, communication ended. Not only is Blake my client, she is also my very dear friend. She has treated me with unmatched kindness for over 15 years. Okay, so that uncomfortable conversation was probably when Justin Baldoni said, "Hey, do you know how much Blake Lively weighs? So I have back issues and I would like to know how much she weighs so I can lift her." And then Don Saladino, yeah, his name, Saladino. So then Don Saladino called Blake and was like, "Hey, Justin wants to know your weight." I'm guessing that's the uncomfortable conversation they had. But it's so interesting to me that he now is trying to back off, saying that I never trained him. Well, it doesn't really matter if you met him in person. The thing here is that you told Blake Lively that he asked about her weight. No one says anything about you training him or not, if that has anything to do with this. What it has to do with is that he told you something in confidence, and as a personal trainer, you should value that and honor that and not go and tell on him on your bestie, Blake Lively. Another thing that I found quite interesting about this trainer now, remember I did an episode about him and I was showing it to Instagram and how he's just like pushing his relationship with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively to sell, his products and his training courses and whatever. And now they're gone. So he removed Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds from his Instagram. You're scrolling through, there's a picture of him with a paper cutout of Ryan Reynolds. But before that, his whole Instagram was about them and how they were his close friends and, how he created Ryan Reynolds' body and Blake Lively's training program, whatever. But if you go to his website, it's very Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Let's put it that way. As I said before, the lack of integrity and loyalty in this industry, if there are any more powerful, richer, more famous people involved, people would always take sides with the people they think that they will gain most from taking sides with. And I think that's just awful. And I saw it that I talked about before as well, with Justin Baldoni's podcast partner, Liz Plank, who had been working with him for 4 years and deleted all the episodes from the podcast Man Enough, 2 days after he was accused of SH by Blake Lively without even knowing if it's true. Oh. Anyways, these things really upset me, as you might notice. Oh, and this trailer just dropped from an interview that Justin Baldoni did. He did actually do this interview before Blake Lively sued him. I don't know why they haven't released it yet, but this teaser says it all.
Intense year. This morning I sent a text message. I had anxiety.
Why is that?
I haven't talked about this yet, but...
Okay, so that podcast is dropping on Monday, so I'm very curious to hear what he has to say. I'm sure he's not going to be too revealing because at that point he didn't even know that Blake Lively was planning to sue him. So I don't know how open he's going to be, but he looks very, very emotional in that clip. And of course he is. I mean, when you read about the things that happened to him, I just feel so sorry for him and his family and everyone around him. It's awful. But what doesn't upset me is you guys, because you're so amazing. And I did an episode yesterday where Magnus was interviewing me about the questions that you asked me. And I saw there's so many more questions. So I'm going to add some questions in here and there in my shows and maybe do another one with Magnus. And someone was saying that even I should interview Magnus, which I will do because Magnus has the best stories. He has also experiences Not as bad as my Blake Lively interview, but there are some out there that are pretty bad. Anyways, you guys, thank you again for watching Flawsome Talk. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification button so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And please keep sending me tips. I love it. There's so many amazing tips and links to stories and ideas of what I can talk about here. And if you know someone that you think I should interview here on my show, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.